Hey everybody, welcome to week 1 for NUR 3103. If you have not watched the welcome video, which is under start here, I would highly suggest that you do that before continuing on with this video. This will serve for your lecture in week 1. That's not typical. Typically, I have PowerPoints that go along with your readings, but we're going to start using the book next week. As I mentioned in the welcome video, APA format has been a huge issue in our program, and we found that students really don't understand how to use APA format to write papers professionally. And that's really important because there's papers due in every class. So this first week is strictly based on APA format to help you understand how to cite in text, how to do a reference page, how to set up a title page, those types of things. There are several videos to help you with that. And I would also suggest getting an APA book. This would help you through every class from here on out. You can even find a APA book for students on Amazon. It's about $10, so it's a condensed version of the APA book that just sets up the highlights. That would be very helpful throughout this program. I cannot pass you in this class if you cannot write in APA format. There is a paper in week 2 that I already talked about in the welcome video, but in week 4, we're going to do a literature review where you're going to find 3 scholarly articles and give me a literature review. That has to be in APA format. That literature review will also go in the week 6 paper, and that has to be in APA format. And I understand everybody makes mistakes as far as APA format goes, but there has been several students who don't know where to even start as far as APA format goes, and in turn they're plagiarizing their paper, which is highly discouraged through the university. So that's why I want to talk about this today. As you scroll through here, you can see a reference guide, a title page guide. You can see these videos on how to format a student paper, how to do in-text and reference citations, and what's new in the 7th edition. I believe the 7th edition came out about 2 years ago, so they changed a few things as far as APA format goes. Some other good resources that you can use are Purdue OWL. If you just Google that, Purdue OWL, they have a website that's great. A lot of times I'll go to that if I'm in a bind, I don't have my APA book, I'll go there and look up what I'm looking for. Another good resource for writing papers is a program called Perla, Perrla. It does cost, I think it's $50 a year, but they will help you format your paper as well. It's a function in Word, and you give them all your information and it helps you format it. It also keeps all of your stuff. So if you're working on something that's a continuing project, for example, I used Perla when I did my doctorate. It was very helpful for them to keep my references from class to class because I was continuing to write about my project. So Perla is helpful, but it does cost money. Another resource that students typically use is Grammarly. And last but not least, we have a writing center here at EIU. It's composed of mostly graduate students, but you can submit your paper to them. They will look at it, give you feedback. The only issue is it's a 7-week course, so you need to work ahead a little bit to give the time to look at your papers, and that's free of charge. I would also like to mention just going through and proofreading your papers is huge. I have so many students who have spelling errors or spacing errors that could be fixed, that they just must have been in a rush and didn't catch. So those are all videos you need to watch to make sure you understand APA format. Each week when we go through discussion boards, I'll have you do APA format as well, so hopefully I can help you as far as your references go, but a lot of times students still have trouble with in-text citation. Here's a link to the Purdue OWL and an APA 7th edition review. Down here in the assignments, you will have an EIU R&B quiz. If you've listened to this video, you should be able to answer those questions, and it's unlimited attempts. You'll also have an APA quiz due this week and the IU plagiarism test. If you click on this link, it'll take you there we go. Here's where it'll take you. You fill out this information, and then you'll take the IU plagiarism test. Once you complete that, I need you to drop your certificate in the drop box, and this is worth 20 points. This is so you understand what plagiarism is. and it's very helpful. We piloted it last semester in this class, and it worked well. If you have trouble with that, please let me know. Please reach out to me. So that concludes APA. There is also in the orientation page there, the D2L orientation page when you first were admitted, there is a section on APA where I've put together a slideshow showing you where items are in the APA book and how you can find things that you might need for papers. So some things I want to talk to you about with the RN to BSN program is basically out of our handbook, and our handbook's rather large, so if you ever have trouble sleeping at night and need some light reading to do, you might click on that. But what I wanted to point out to you were some of our progression requirements that sometimes confuse students and cause some issues. You can find this handbook on our RN to BSN website. You can find it in this class, and you can also find it in the RN to BSN orientation D2L page. Sorry about that. So one of the first things that we talked about in the welcome video is that you need to log in within the first 5 days. If you haven't logged in within the first 5 days of class, you will be dropped. If you're watching this video, you've obviously logged in. We open classes the Thursday before they begin. So this class was set to open on January 9th. It would have opened the Thursday before that. So that gives you a full week to log in. All of your classes need to be completed before you take NUR 4604. You're currently in 3103. The only other restriction we have is with 3703 that you have a statistics class either when you take it, like at the same time, or before. But NUR 4604 is a 16-week class, and in this class you'll put together a portfolio, and you have to have all the other classes completed in order to complete that portfolio. For that portfolio, you need papers that you wrote in all of these classes. So it's very, very, very important that you save every paper that you write in the RN to BSN program. You need to save the graded paper that your instructor graded, and also a rubric if there is a rubric. This will all go into that portfolio in 4604. So progression requirements for the RN to BSN program. If you should happen to fail a class, you get put on academic warning. So you can fail one class, we'll put you on academic warning. If you fail another class, you're dismissed from our program. Okay, so we don't like for you to fail, and not that you want to fail either, but it's really important that you communicate with your instructors. I know life happens, and sometimes our parents get sick, our kids get sick, somebody's in the hospital. Talk to your instructors. Our instructors are extremely lenient on giving people maybe an incomplete or some extra time to finish things, so they don't have to get an F. We also have the same rule for withdrawing from the program, or withdrawing from a class, I'm sorry. If you happen to withdraw from a class, you can only do that once. If you withdraw from more than one class, you'll be dismissed from the program. And the reason is our classes fill up so fast that if you continue to withdraw from classes, you're just taking seats away from people who could have been in that class. Should you go on warning or be dismissed from the program, you'll get an email from me, and we can move forward from there and discuss what your future options are. The last thing I want to talk to you about are EWPs. This is electronic writing portfolio. I don't think I put it in my start here. It is in the D2L online orientation page. But EWPs are really important. You have to submit 3 before you graduate. The university will not let you graduate if you have not submitted 3 electronic writing portfolios. Your advisor, Lindsay Roberts, should also be talking to you about this. You can submit one from each class. You cannot submit once you move on. Actually, I think there's some information under here. Yes, I would highly suggest clicking on this link and looking at EWPs. This is under the advising link. So 3 EWPs. So if you take NUR 3103 in the spring and write a paper, if you don't submit it in the spring, you can't ever submit it. So you need to submit those by the end of the semester. Okay. After listening to this video, you should be able to complete your quiz under week 1. After reviewing APA, you should be able to complete that quiz as well. And then you'll just have the IU plagiarism test to take. Now, this does take some time. I've had students tell me they've got it done in 20 minutes. I've had students told me it took them a few days to get through it. That was a lot. So please don't wait on that. If you should happen to have trouble with it, though, please reach out to me. If you guys have questions, send me an email. Have a great week.